So what would you say is like your message to other young Asian Americans specifically, who are navigating the feeling of not belonging, which is being forced on them by other people, whether it's them being made feel, feeling embarrassed about their culture or food or language or anything? What would be your advice to them?
My advice to them is also still sort of my advice to myself, if that makes sense. Um, Find the people that are your people. I think anytime, community is for me the thing that combats any sort of negativity or any sort of isolation. Anytime you find yourself in a situation where you feel like you're not being understood or you're not being heard, I think making sure that you have safe spaces and pockets of people who also share those experiences so you don't feel so alone in that. Um, that's something that I think has helped deliver me through really difficult times in my life. And also, I think I something really important to share is, we talk about Raya and we talk about like being the first Southeast Asian princess. I That for me was such a full circle healing experience because Michelle, like you said, like, I grew up very much someone who felt like I had to hide the parts of myself that made me different. And now the experience of doing something that's so very loudly and publicly celebrated the parts of myself that as a little girl I wanted to hide, like that is such an impossible, miraculous, magical experience. And I want everyone to feel the way I felt doing that. I think when you're young, it's so easy to feel this sort of tunnel vision, like this moment is everything, and it's so difficult. And yes, it is difficult to sort of have moments of isolation and feel like you are different and unheard and unseen. Um, but if I can say one thing, if my journey has taught me anything, it's that as you get older, you start to realize the things that made you different are the most powerful things about you. And I am learning how to reclaim those parts of myself. I'm in Vietnamese classes, so the parts that I wanted to hide are definitely the parts that I am relearning and figuring out how to embrace. And I want that for everyone. I wish I could hang out with every kid who felt, these sort of feelings of isolation because I know so deeply what that is. But yeah, I guess my words of advice would be you're not alone. It gets better. Find your people, surround yourself with people who love and support you. And one day I do think that if your journey is anything like mine, and I know that I'm speaking from a very privileged place because I've had a weird journey. um, but I do think that impossible things are possible. And um, I do think that with age, you start to recognize that those things that you wanted to hide are things to be celebrated. And I can't wait for the world to celebrate all of these things with you and everyone. Yes.